It's lights out, everybody, and welcome back to the Low Downforce podcast, the For Friend Formula One podcast. We're not quite back to full strength, but J9 is back in the house. We're still missing Matt, although he should be back very, very soon. But you've got J9, Josh, and myself, Ben. We decompressed in the break. We're coming up on a triple header, though, and not only a triple header, but the beginning of the quote-unquote European summer. It is here upon us. The Formula One calendar heads to Italy for its first of two races in the green, white, and red. And there's so much to talk about before we even get to racing. We last talked to you after Miami, caught our breath, or so we thought, and then Alpine decides to drop not just one, but two large bombshell pieces of news. First, we get Ollie Oakes, their team principal, announces his resignation. And people are like, oh, what does this mean? Was he told to leave? Was he fired?
Forced.
What's going on? And then stirring the pot even more, like 12 hours later, not that long, we get the announcement that Jack Doohan is being replaced by Franco Colapinto. And that's like the high level, but let's dive right into it. J9, you're back. I know you've been bottling some opinions since it's been a minute since you've been on the pod. So what you got? What's your reaction to all of this?
I mean, I'm honestly impressed with Alpine. I am all for trying to shake things up. It's not really starting out well, and they just kind of want something new, something fresh. It's not working. And whether or not Colapinto is better than Doohan, I'm excited to see. But I think you're just kind of trading one shitty driver for another. They're both rookies. They're both kind of just like, in my opinion, Doohan doesn't stand out nor like not stand out versus Colapinto. I think they're like kind of the same. Granted, it's only been 6 races that they've had to really show all that they've got. And so I don't think that Colapinto has really done so much better that he stands out. Like, it's not Kimi, you know? And so it just, you're just kind of taking like, half dozen.
I think Colapinto did a great job at the end of the last year for Williams, to where he has earned a seat for this season. I didn't think it would be as a backup driver and then replacing Jack Doohan, because I also think Jack Doohan got a terrible deal here because he has not impressed, but he hasn't really been put in a position to impress. So I think he kind of got a raw deal here being replaced by Colapinto. But I think the more interesting thing is Oliver Oakes resigning and all that goes around that, because it sounds like he might be in trouble with the Russian mafia.
Well, I didn't see that. That's
at least
wild.
His brother is. But
yeah, the timing of it.
I have a hard time believing he was the youngest team principal currently on the grid. Or was. Again, Formula One. There's only 20 drivers in the world, but even less than that, there's only 10 team principals in the world. So I don't think you just give up that spot. Like, if you can find a way to work. Like, to me, I think there's a lot more behind the curtain. And
with about the team itself or about his criminal status?
Who knows? Who knows? But I'm going to dive into the team a little bit, because in the modern era, in the last 5-10 years, I know we've talked about Christian Horner with kind of his scandal at the beginning of last season, Red Bull falling from grace and not really kind of living up to the expectation that they've had over the last few seasons. A lot of people have criticized, including us, Red Bull kind of falling apart. But Alpine has to be the biggest failure, the most dysfunctional team in Formula One. I mean, first off, the other part of Ollie Oakes resigning is now their team principal is Flavio Briatore, who, for all of those who are new fans, I didn't know this until a little while after I became a fan. Flavio Briatore received a lifetime ban from Formula One in 2009 for telling a driver to crash on purpose so that his teammate could get a favorable safety car. It's called Crashgate. It's the biggest scandal in Formula One history. And less than 20 years later, he's not just back in the sport, but he's a team principal. And then Alpine is Renault. It's a works team. and they're getting rid of their works team. They're going to be taking Mercedes engines next year. So they failed designing their own cars and powertrains. They've now swapped out Doohan 6 races into his career for Franco Colapinto on a 5-race contract. So
Do you know who Doohan's manager is?
Flavio Briatore.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And funny enough, the driver who Briatore told to crash was Nelson Piquet Jr., who is Kelly Piquet, Max Verstappen's partner and now baby mama, her brother. So it is all over the board crazy. Formula One is a soap opera. It's a reality show, and it's delivering. But Alpine has done nothing right. I believe Flavio Briatore will be the 8th team principal for Alpine since COVID. So we are talking in 5 years, 8 team principals. And in that time also, there was the famous Oscar Piastri, announcing that he didn't actually have a contract with an Alpine.
Imagine if he was at Alpine right now.
Oh my goodness. It's so dysfunctional.
Flavio really gets the upper hand in this. He gets so much money for having Colapinto sign, and then he's also now the team principal. And I don't even know how that's allowed, but somehow it is.
There's Bortoletto's manager is Fernando Alonso. There's just no rules in Formula One.
Even better on that, Josh, is the driver who Nelson Piquet crashed for to bring out a favorable safety car was for Fernando Alonso. Yeah. So, the call came from within the house. It's all a shit stirring pot, and we are here eating it all up like we haven't eaten in weeks. But oh my goodness. Was it really a week off? I don't know, but we keep it moving. The sport goes on, life goes on, fast cars got to do fast things, and that brings us now looking ahead to Imola, and we're going to call it Imola because the official name is the Formula One AWS Gran Premio del Made in Italy e dell'Emilia Romagna. So, I don't think there's enough tiles on. I don't think there's enough tiles on a Scrabble board to spell all of that out. So we're just going to call it Imola, the name of the track. It was formerly also known as the San Marino Grand Prix. I was actually gifted by my uncle for my birthday this year his paddock pass from the late 2000s. He got to go to the San Marino Grand Prix and actually got to ride in the safety car, which I think is a fun little fact. Awesome. Maybe that'll be me one day, but if the race is good enough to just be called after the track, then Imola must have something about it. That brings us to Matt's track facts. Without Matt, Josh, you got those duties today.
Yeah, just like the Formula One AWS Gran Premio del Made in Italy ed Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, the track name is the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. So everything here is just a mouthful. But it opened in 1953. It's one of the oldest circuits in F1, named after Enzo Ferrari and his son Dino, in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. And it's just 80 kilometers from Ferrari's Maranello factory. So this is the home. Ferrari has a few home races, but this is the home race for Ferrari. It is a 3.05 mile or 4.909 kilometer circuit with 19 turns. You get high-speed straights, technical chicanes, elevation changes, and it's just it's a historic track. Michael Schumacher holds the record with 7 wins here, and Max Verstappen has won the last 3 in 2021, 2022, and 24. It was canceled in 23 for flooding. And Ayrton Senna had 8 consecutive pole positions from 1985 to 1991 here. So it's just a crazy track all around. Lewis Hamilton in 2020 owns a lap record at a 1:15.484, 63 laps total. Yeah, all in all, I don't think I missed anything there.
No, you hit all of the bases. As you mentioned, Ayrton Senna, there is a beautiful statue of him outside of the track.
I guess I did leave that out.
It does get covered in flowers, obviously, on the anniversary of his death. Obviously, so unfortunate. One of the greats of the sport, but enjoy Imola while you can. The CEO of Formula One earlier this month admitted that maybe it's not long for Formula One and on the calendar, but maybe in their dying breath, they're trying out some new things. This is the first time all year we will see Pirelli's new C6 compound. We have the three
Yes.
fastest tires on a very technical, very fast track, as you mentioned, Josh. So I expect, as we've seen a lot of times this season, expect the track record to be broken. We'll have to see if actually during the race, if the lap record will also be broken.
And what's interesting about those soft tires, none of the teams even tested them in Bahrain. So this will literally be the first time these tires have been put on the cars all season. So it'll kind of be an unknown. I hope they degrade quickly and cause chaos because so far the tires have been too good.
And maybe we'll get a less than a second finish like we did last year, which brings us to our race. We rewind. J9, what do you have for us?
Oh, yeah. Last year was really interesting because I think this was a little bit of a turning point from the beginning of last season when Verstappen was just dominating. This was a big turning point where you really saw McLaren and Ferrari fighting up front and that near finish for Verstappen. So he did wind up winning, but Lando was right behind him under a second, which was an incredible race to watch. You then had Leclerc in third with that last podium spot and Piastri at 4. So, those are, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, 3 big names that we have this season. So I really do think this is going to be a tight race. Now, last year it was fairly boring aside from the really close finish. Nothing crazy happened. There weren't big crashes. You had Perez have a good race last year, but nothing too crazy. But last year, that was crazy for Perez to have a relatively decent race.
Not even a sport, and he's still getting shots.
Yeah, I have to. Why not? You had Alonso retire from the race late with Albon also retiring. So a couple DNFs, no major things happening. So I'm excited for this race again with the new tires, but I think McLaren's obviously a different car. Ferrari's a different car this year, Red Bull. And so I think we're going to see a tight race, but probably not where we expect it to be up at 1 and 2.
That we will certainly have to see. And we're going to take our best guesses on if we think it's going to be the same 1-2, who's going to finish on the podium. But before we can get into our predictions, we have to catch us up because I forgot last episode to get into our very own Predictors Championship. But Josh, you, Mr. Statistician, what you got?
Yeah, so in Miami, pretty bad as a whole for the group. I got 1 point in guessing Lando Norris with the sprint win, and J9 got 1 point with Piastri in the race win. No hot takes, nothing else. So in a sprint weekend with extra takes, we're bad at them. Yeah. So hopefully we can turn that around here in Imola and have some better takes. But I'm still in the lead, so I guess maybe I'm rooting for everybody to keep missing. I have 13. Matt in second with 9. Ben, you've surpassed J9. But J9, with that point, you're now only 1 point behind Ben. You have 7.
Nice.
He has 8. So it's still a very tight battle all around.
Hey, similar to what we see on track, McLaren seems to be running away with the season, at least so far. A lot of season to go. Josh, hey, you're running away with it now, but we'll see what happens. Can the 3 of us hunt you down? And that all starts on Saturday. Obviously, we are predicting our pole position. J9, why don't you start us off?
Yeah. For quali?
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Pole position. I'm going with Verstappen. I think he's going to come out pretty strong in quali. I think he's really going to try to, again, get that 4th win on this track for the last 4 years. I think that's going to be pretty big for him. And I think he's going to really come out wanting to have some of that win that he didn't have in Miami. So we're going Verstappen.
I also went Max Verstappen. This is a rather technical track where you got to risk it for the biscuit on some of these gravel line turns to really get maximum speed, set the lap. This isn't going to be my first prediction. A little spoiler alert on making some parallels to Japan this year. There's also a very famous, very technical track where Max did very well. So similar thought. I've got him on pole.
I'm going for Oscar Piastri just because he's driving so well right now, and he is in the best car, and I don't think it's close. Even though a lot of teams, I think, are bringing upgrades here. I think, is McLaren bringing upgrades? Do you know?
We don't know yet, but they are clear right now, so we will see if
Yeah.
anybody can catch them. But that makes the podcast split 50-50 because Matt, who has sent in his predictions, has also gone Oscar Piastri on pole. But are we seeing another pole converted to win, or is this going to be another shake up? But before we get to the winner, starting with the bottom step on the podium, but on the podium nonetheless, third position, Matt, Josh, you'll be happy to hear, has gone with Charles Leclerc. He thinks that the Ferrari upgrades that have hinted at coming, some of them showed up in Miami, that they will be enough for Ferrari's first home race, bringing home some
Wow.
podium points.
Yeah, the Miami upgrades did not work out very well. And I've heard
Not at all.
the upgrades for Imola might not be that big either. So I would love to see Ferrari do well, but I am not predicting that. I have Max Verstappen in P3 because I think he's the best non-McLaren driver.
Yep. I'm going to have to agree there. I think Verstappen goes from first in quali. He's so strong there, but after so many laps, he's going to fall down to 3.
I have gone with the only thing that would be better than a Ferrari win in Italy, or a Ferrari podium in Italy, excuse me, is a Kimi Antonelli first podium on home soil. He's going to have so many fans. I mean, he's a phenom, like a lot of people, and on a big team, Mercedes, a lot of people already cheering for him. But I imagine this is going to be the first season where he's going to be the guy.
Was Giovinazzi the last Italian driver?
I believe so. So it's been a few years.
Yeah.
And they're going to, I mean, Italian fans, especially related to Ferrari, I mean, they're known as the best Formula One fans in the world. And so now they have one of their own back on the grid, and no less a kid hungry for his first podium. So it's a little out of left field, but I am going for it. But I think we've all kind of set the stage in our comments that 1 and 2 might be a particular papaya color. I have gone Oscar Piastri in second. Matt has gone Lando Norris in second. So we, the McLaren boys, we are even split on who we think is taking the top step this weekend.
Yeah, I've also gone for Norris, and just to spoil, I have Piastri, P1. Converting that pole.
I'm the same way. I think Piastri's really, really been so strong.
I guess I'm the only one. So Matt also
You've
went
gone for
Oscar
Lando?
Piastri. I went Lando for the win. I think he looked better in Miami. I think he started kind of figuring out his form a little bit. And I guess talking about Japan too, we saw Lando edge out Oscar in qualifying and the race in Japan. I think this is one of those tracks where the more experience you have, the more risk you're willing to take, the better it's going to play off. And I think Lando, he's hungry for it, but I think he's also shown at this track that he can find absolute pace, as he did at the end of the Grand Prix last year. I'm loving this. If McLaren keeps bagging 1 and 2s, I'm not going to be complaining all year long.
This season is over.
Yeah, you're going to have a great season then.
Hey, I love it. I'm happy. You know, I cheered for them when they were bad. I get to cheer for them when they are good.
My Ferrari optimism from the beginning of the year is vanished.
Yeah, gone.
The season's over. We're the 4th best team.
But
done conclusion.
Just as important to some drivers as the podium. For some, P10 is a great deal. For some, P10 is a horrendous performance. But nonetheless, we make the prediction anyway. That final point prediction. J9, who have you selected this weekend?
I'm sad to say it, but I'm going with Sainz. I think that he does great in some races and then others not so well. I really feel bad for him this season because he's in a Williams, but he's doing the best he can. And I think he'll still get the points, but I think it's still going to be a struggle for him with such a packed house with Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, even Red Bull now. I think it's too packed.
There's no packed house at the top because I've gone for Lewis Hamilton in P10. Ferrari I've lost all hope. We're absolutely terrible. The car's not good. The driver, Lewis Hamilton, though, he posted a picture on Instagram today. He is looking absolutely ripped.
Maybe he could run faster than the car. It certainly looked like Ferrari's Lego performance was maybe their best performance of
That's
the
true.
year.
It was
Do you
the
think
full
that
video
he's
was
just
so
been spending
funny.
more time in the gym than on the track?
It's possible.
I have also gone for a front-running team, but not necessarily a front-running driver. I've gone with Yuki Tsunoda in P10. He just snagged that position last race, just barely edging out Isaac Hadjar. Oh my goodness. Oh, and the green
Shredded.
screen eats him up. But, I mean, Yuki, I keep talking about this being a technical track, but I still think Yuki is coming to grips with the Red Bull, and I've got him there. Matt, gone his second team, if you will, Haas. He's gone Esteban Ocon. Haas has been really up and down this season, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like you're just as likely to get a Haas in P7 as you are to get in P17. P10 falls in between those two, so maybe by luck of anything at this point, I mean, our guess is as good as anybody's. He is gone with Esteban Ocon, and that brings us to the best prediction of them all, the spicy hot takes. It's only right that J9 is back. It is only right that she kicks it off because, I mean, we owe this prediction to her. 3 times as many of the points, 3 times as much chaos in the predictions. What do you have?
Yeah, again, I'm going to be super pessimistic here.
On brand.
Alpine
sounding
puts
like
their
me.
money in Colapinto. Colapinto gets last. Done.
Oh,
Oof.
yikes.
Last.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, that's like very realistic. Like he's got
Yeah.
no experience in this year's car, just about.
Yeah,
Dead
I'll say
last.
it's hot enough, though.
But Matt
Dead
is
last of
going
finishers,
to.
or does the DNF count?
DNF does not count. He's just going to simply get
Okay.
last.
Well, you and Matt have completely opposite opinions because Matt has gone with Franco Colapinto is getting points in his Alpine debut. So
Wow.
That would be
you
crazy.
say bust, he says boom. Obviously, we will
Crazy.
find out come the Grand Prix on Sunday. It is all to race for. Speaking of finishing last or finishing at all, my spicy hot take, I said I was going to make comparisons to Japan. I think that Imola will be only the second race this year where all 20 cars finish the race. No DNFs, no
Wow.
disqualifications. There's going to be some slow boys out there, but they're all going to bring it home. And that's what counts in a lot of ways for some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, no damage means more money to invest into next year. So
Hey, they still
That's
might get
true.
damage, but they have to finish the race. I need them to finish the race.
Oh.
Okay.
They can knock front wing end plates off, but they got to finish the race.
Just like
That's what I need.
like the Legos.
Exactly.
Okay, I've gone for Gabriel Bortoleto to finish ahead of his teammate Nico Hulkenberg.
Is that the Brazilian pronunciation? Gabriel?
Gabriel, I don't know. Yeah, I guess definitely not. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Probably not.
But I'm having him outperform his teammate Hulkenberg, who's been doing well. Bortoletto's finished 18th the past 2 races, but if Colapinto finishes last, then he only has a few more guys to pass, and hopefully he'll pass his teammate as well.
That we will have to see. Of course, we missed you. It was a week off racing. But now we are going boom, bop, bam, 3 in a row. Imola,
Oh, yeah.
Monaco, Spain. Oh my goodness. We are fully into the meat of the Formula One season in 2025. It is so exciting. You will have to tune in to see if our predictions are correct. And of course, you'll have to join us after the race to make sure you get all of the information that happened on track, off track. At this point, we don't know which is going to be more enticing. Depends on what Alpine decides to do any week, in or out. But because we are in Italy, because the European summer is officially upon us, qualifying is at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and you're going to have to get up a tiny bit earlier than that. It is a 9 a.m. race on Sunday on ESPN in the States. Of course, that is the Eastern Coast time, so watch along with us if you can. It is going to be exciting. Hopefully it's going to be exciting, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty to talk about afterwards, so we will talk to you then. Stay speedy, everybody. Goodbye.